Welcome, sir. Sir, your slide is visible on the screen.
So my slide is visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is visible in the screen, sir.
Okay. So
you can just give some slide movement, make some movement. Sometimes it happens that it doesn't move.
okay.
Just a quick move.
Just is it moving?
No, sir, not yet moving. Not moving, sir.
It is.
Yeah, it's moving. Class, next slide is coming, sir.
Okay. So whenever any problem, please raise your voice.
Sure,
here.
sure, sir.
And if
sure,
it is
sir.
disconnect, then you
Yes.
ring a call in mobile.
Okay, sure, sir.
I will
Sure,
log out again. I will join.
Sure, sir. I shall do that, sir.
Thank you.
So there's little time, so you'll have to wait for some time, sir.
Okay.
So welcome to all. Just we're waiting for some time. This time is. Please keep patience. Please wait for another few minutes, please.
अभी तक 70 पे पहुंच गए। हाँ पहुंच गए, पेनिक तक पहुंच गए।
So, a very warm welcome from Shama Prasad Mukherjee, National Institute of Water and Sanitation, Kolkata. So, I hope that everybody is comfortable. Now, our advisor Sahaj has also joined. I'm welcoming, find much pleasure welcoming Dr. Mihir Kumar Purkait from IIT Guwahati, who is also a professor chair for Jal Jeevan Mission in the field of water technology. So it is really very nice to see you all in this webinar. As you know that SPR Niwas has been arranging webinars for disseminating knowledge amongst all the stakeholders across the country. And we have already organized 17 webinars in different fields of water sector. In today's webinar, Professor Mihir Kumar Purkait from IIT Guwahati, who is also JJM Professor Chair, will make a presentation on the topic appropriate technologies for the treatment of fluoride contaminated drinking water. Dr. Mihir Kumar Purkait is a professor in the Department of Chemical Engineering, IIT Guwahati, and also JJM Professor Chair on water treatment technology. He has more than 24 years of experience in academics and research and working on the broad area of water treatment technologies. He has developed and deployed many water treatment plants, including retrofitting plants in single village and multi-village water supply schemes. Fluoride contamination in drinking water is a significant concern in India, with the Indian standard set at 1 milligram per liter. Natural rocks and mineral releases fluoride into groundwater, requiring effective treatment techniques. Various methods have been employed, including chemical coagulation, ion exchange, electrocoagulation, and membrane separation. However, absorption has emerged as a widely accepted method due to its ease of operation and reasonable cost. The development of adsorptive materials and optimization of adsorbent performance are crucial for effective fluoride removal. With the increasing use of nano-sized materials, this lecture will focus on various fluoride removal technologies and their critical analysis, providing insights on selecting appropriate technologies for different regions. We are really very happy to have Dr. Purkait to throw his knowledge on the subject. And I request all the participants not to interfere during the presentation. Kindly to put off their microphones so that we all can listen to him very carefully, very patiently. And after the presentation is over, there will be an interactive session for around half an hour. During that time, you will be able to interact with Dr. Purkait sir to clear your doubts. I'm still hearing some voice from some participants. So it is humble request to put off all the microphone, please. Now I request our advisor, sir, he's here to speak a few words regarding our webinars.
Very good afternoon.
Our advisor, sir.
Yes, very good afternoon. First of all, I extend my heartiest welcome to Professor Mihir Kumar Purkait, who is Professor Chair in the JGM on Water Treatment Technologies at IIT Guwahati. So, Ministry of Drinking Water and Sanitation has appointed few professor chairs and they have been allocated to the work as per their expertise. So, this professor chair, which is at IIT Guwahati, which is headed by Professor Mihir Kumar, has been allocated to the work for the water treatment technologies. So I thank him also for sparing time to share his work with all of our participants. And I am seeing that from many states, mission directors, offices, chemists, chief chemists have joined this lecture. I also extend my heartiest welcome to them all also. And today's topic, which is on the treatment of fluoride, contaminated drinking water, is very, very important. Many parts of the country are facing contamination of fluoride. I belong to Punjab. I know at many places, many villages, the fluoride problem is very, very severe. And it is deteriorating day by day. The villagers, the habitations, which were earlier free from fluoride, or the level of fluoride was the less than the permissible limit. Now, day by day, the level of fluoride is increasing, and many more habitations are becoming getting water supply which is contaminated with the fluoride. So now there is need to develop the solutions which are cost effective, sustainable, and easily maintainable. So I think today's lecture by Professor Mihir Kumar will be very helpful. It will enlighten us about the key aspects of the technologies and their sustenance, and then their rollout in the rural areas. So once again, I hope everybody will learn from it. I will also request all of you who are just not able to mute their mic, please mute your mic, because if you are speaking during the presentation, it disturbs the speaker and it disturbs the others also, and we waste a lot of time also. So all you have joined, please keep your mic muted, or I will request Mr. Sekia to mute the mic of everyone. Then Dr. Professor Mihir Kumar is giving the lecture presentation. Once his presentation is over, then you can unmute the mic of all others. So I think that will be better. Otherwise, if somebody is not careful and this mic is switched on, then they disturb everyone. Even now, when I was speaking, someone was speaking in between also. So once again, I am not taking much time. I again request Professor Mihir Kumarji to deliver his lecture. Thank you.
So, good afternoon to all, and thank you very much for introducing me. So, hope my slide is visible and I am audible to all of you. So, please respond, any one of you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Your slide is visible and you're audible also, sir. You can go. Yes.
Oh, thank you very much. So, today's lectures, I will discuss about the 1-2 slides on the health impact, the national scenario of fluoride contamination state-wise, how many districts are contaminated in fluoride, then basic technology used for fluoride removal technology across the countries, and the your advantage and disadvantage of each type of technology, then possible which is the best solution we will discuss. Thereafter we will interact each of here, then I will be very happy to answer all the queries here. So first, all of you know that our safe limit of water as per BIS is 1 ppm in fluoride, and where water is not available 1 ppm up to 1.5 ppm it can go. So then 1 to 3 ppm if the water contamination, then generally dental fluorosis occurs. If it is 3 to 4 ppm, then stiffening of brittle bones and joints. 4 to 6 ppm above, then deformation of knee, hip bones, and finally paralysis, making person unable to walk, stand in straight postures, and various types of fluorosis diseases are happening. So here is a few pictures like your dental fluorosis in the left side, then skeletal fluorosis, and non-skeletal fluorosis wherever is during ingestion. So other stomach problem and other problems are also, that is, you're categorized in non-skeletal fluorosis. And these are the fluorosis patient. Your left side is the dental fluorosis and right side is the skeletal fluorosis. Now let us see what is the state-wise fluoride contaminations level. As already told that more than 5% of water treatment plants are contaminated with fluoride, particularly in the Rajasthan. Then more than your color, it is visible that. So more than 5% is in the Rajasthan. 5% is in Karnataka. 0 to 2.5% is the rest of the countries. So side by side in the right column, we can see that. So Indian Fluorosis Research and Rural Development Foundation India, they also have here identified fluorosis is prevalent in so many states, that is fluorosis also prevalent. 70 to 100% districts are affected in Andhra Pradesh, Gujarat, and Rajasthan. 40 to 70% districts are under fluorosis, that is in Bihar, Delhi, Haryana, Jharkhand, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Odisha, Tamil Nadu, and Uttar Pradesh. And very less number, 10 to 40% districts are affected in Assam, Jammu Kashmir, Kerala, and Chhattisgarh in West Bengal. So these are as per Indian fluorosis research. So this much population, this much percentage of fluorosis are found there. So next slide, I will go. Where is this one? So these are the your 712 rural districts. Nearly 250 districts are affected with fluoride contamination in water. A total 3,159 villages all over India are facing fluoride contamination of water. So these are you collected from our e-Jal Shakti portals, like Andhra Pradesh, the number of villages 82 are fluoride contaminated, Gujarat 185, Haryana 88, Karnataka 635, large number of villages are contaminated. And Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Odisha, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh. So a few are here, and rest of are also available in the portals. A few districts are also mentioned, like Rajasthan, Gujarat, Andhra Pradesh. In Andhra Pradesh, so many districts which are fluoride contaminated are already mentioned in the websites. So it shows that in India, fluoride contamination is growing day by day, and it has a bad impact over the human health. So fluoride levels in India, that is typical range. In Andhra Pradesh, generally found 0.4 to 29 milligram per liter, whereas acceptable is 1 to 1.5 ppm. In Assam, 1.6 to 23.4 points. Then Bihar, 0.28 to 8.32 ppm is available. So these are the various types of states. You can see that fluoride contaminations, minimum and maximums are there. So from there also we can predict year-wise how much it increases the fluoride concentrations throughout the states. And gradually your number of villages are contaminated with fluoride also increases day by day. So now always we tell that fluoride is also required in our body. So here I will go that about inadequate intake EI index of fluoride. So fluoride is essential in our human body for your normal mineralizations of bones and formation of dental enamels. It creates dental fluorosis, but to form the dental enamels, fluorides are also there. So here is the table as per Institute of Medicine Standing Committee. So here our age, males and females, fluoride per day, milligram per day is very much required here. For example, 0 to 6 months, the baby, he or she also needs 0.1 ppm of fluoride. Then lastly, greater than 18 years, every day, 3.4 to 4 ppm fluorides for males and 2.9 to 3 ppms of fluorides for females are also required. So although fluoride is a toxic, but a minimum amount of fluoride is also required for our health purpose. So the fluoride chemistry, if we go, then it is an ionic and fluoride is available. Most of the fluoride, it cannot exist water in the ionic forms like fluoride. It makes a salt like sodium fluoride and calcium fluoride. Generally, HF is not found because HF is somehow acidic. In salt form, sodium fluoride and calcium fluoride forms, all the forms are available in the waters. And in natural fluoride occurrence like calcium fluoride in low concentration in drinking water is available. Apart from the waters, that fluoride also can be found in various types of foods like tea, wheat, rice, soybean, tomato, potato, carrot, etc., which takes water from the surface, and also fluoride is deposited here. And we are also taking fluoride from these vegetables also. And underground waters that contains high level of fluoride, and due to irrigations, a large extent of water is coming from the underground to the top surface, which also creates fluoride contamination over the surface. Now, directly we'll go ahead for what are the technology available for fluoride removal techniques. All those technology can be classified into 4 major categories. One is adsorption, another one is ion exchange, then we'll go ahead for coagulation precipitations and the membrane processes. So here, first we'll go for adsorption, and various types of adsorbent are used. Example, very widely used is the alumina. And that alumina generally used throughout the country is G87, 0.6 to 1 to 1.2 millimeters. And so many, your alumina is also available in Amazon, Flipkart, it is available in the market. So it has an adsorption capacity of 2.2 milligram per gram, not much. And a minimum time of 20 minutes is required and at 30 degrees centigrade to better adsorption efficiency. So that whenever we are designing some adsorbent or some adsorber, we have to ensure that a minimum residence time is 20, contact time is 20 minutes is required in the adsorption chamber so that the complete adsorption is taking place. Next one is fluoride removal efficiency of these alumina. Generally it is found 4 to 15 milligram per gram in your capacity. However, field experience also show that it has a very less adsorption, even less than 1 milligram. The suppliers can provide that it has a 4 to 15 milligram per gram adsorption capacity, but drastic reduction of this fluoride removal capacity you can find even it is 1 milligram per gram. This is because that adsorption is highly pH dependent, and it has been seen that at the pH within 5 to 6 maximum adsorption takes place. If our feed waters, intake waters varies the pH, like if it is above the 6, say for example pH 6, then silicate and that hydroxide, that's the adverse effect, and that efficiency of adsorption gradually decreases. Sometimes water becomes acidic even it is less than 5, then that activated alumina after adsorption that dissolves and adsorption capacity also decreases. So 5 to 6 pH is optimum whenever we are using alumina as adsorbent for the removal of fluoride. If it is not possible to maintain that pH to 6, if it is acidic, base to be added, and if it is base, then acid to be added in order to maintain the pH between 5 to 6. Now, regeneration is also possible. That regeneration generally done using 2% of sodium hydroxide or 2 normal of HCl, 5% of sodium chloride. So all those things generally used for regeneration of activated alumina. However, for each regeneration, 2 to 5% reduction of efficiency has been observed. So subsequent regeneration of 20 to 30 times, it has been seen that its efficiency is drastically reduced. So again, we have to recharge, or you have to change that solvent. So this has a regarding the alumina. Those who are using alumina as an fluoride removal absorption, they are absorbing agent. So pH to be taken care of, and time when its regeneration is required, that is to be taken care of. Another adsorbent generally used is in the research scale. Somewhere it is used in the household purpose, like bone char, animal bones, goat, cow, all those bones are burned, and even it is fish scale is burned and used for the fluoride removal purpose. But in India particularly, it doesn't have any social acceptability. So although it has a high capacity for fluoride absorption, however, implementation or use of it for drinking water purpose is somehow restricted. Then we will go ahead for widely used activated carbon. But activated carbon cannot absorb fluoride. We have to modify it, or you have to impregnate it with alum. So appropriate alum dosing within the activated charcoal make it better for fluoride removal. However, as you know that aluminum is the responsible for removing fluoride. Since alumina, it has contained 8 to 9% of aluminum and remaining 92% of other materials, which makes large amount of flux. So use of alumina in presence of activated carbon to remove fluoride. The problem here is that a large extent of flux will be generated and which will be deposited within the carbon, and again rewashing is required, and its efficiency of activated carbon will be reduced because of that 92% of other sludge materials which has to be used along with alum. Generally, alkali digestions, 1% KOH or 2% aluminum carbon each we are adding here, and efficiency is better at pH 7. So again, it has a problem because when we are using alum, it has a tendency to increase pH even before 7-8. In that case, your pH adjustment is required for the better performance of activated carbon along with alumina used for the fluoride removal. And it can be regenerated even after exhaustion, and by 0.2 to 0.5% alum solution that can be regenerated. So activated carbon has a advantage of using fluoride, but it has a disadvantage of using alum because alum has a 92% of other sludge. Now we will go ahead for ion exchange. Ion exchange, it has a potential. It is potential for removing fluoride. However, it has a better efficiency is pH 9. pH 9 is the quite basic. So we have to adjust the solution or water to be treated in the basic media, which needs addition of sodium hydroxide. Otherwise, at pH 6, 7, or 6 to 8, it will not have effectful for removing fluoride. In that case, efficiency will be drastically reduced. And in addition to that, like fluoride is anionic. So other anionic ions like carbonate, sulfate, or sulfide, phosphide, other anionic arsenite, other anionic contents will reduce the fluoride absorption efficiency. So it has a tendency for your less absorption when others anionic terms will be there. But it can be regenerated using 10% of hydrochloric acid. However, ion exchange resin has a cost. It has around 20 to 30 rupees per liter cost. And so it is not economically feasible. Moreover, that ion exchange regime, it has a slow process of treatment rather than whenever absorption, where the absorption is a high process. But using resin may not be a faster process. So that strong base anion exchange regimes, the taste of water, that also remains intact. But however, some bad smell may come depending on type of resins which is used for the ion exchange purpose. Okay. Sometimes serpentines are also used in different states by for using of your fluoride removal. Serpentine, that is a material which contains one or both mixture of components like magnesium, silica, oxygen, that type of materials. So it has a removal efficiency, but it is highly pH dependent. It has a better efficiency in the basic media. So solution needs to be pH adjusted. In the basic media, 6, 7, 8, sometimes it is required. So once it is in the basic media, adsorption will be there. Again, it will acid to be added to neutralize in the around 6.5 to 7.5. So that again, serpentine synthesis is also a complex process, and that's why it is a costly. So that's why fluoride removal is not so much cost effective using the serpentine. In addition, you will see the literature, so many materials are also used for the fluoride removal purpose, like limestone, bricks, clay, kaolinite, sometimes lignite, nirmal seeds, sometimes tamarind gel and seeds also used for the fluoride removal in household purpose. In addition to that, various plants, born plant materials, activated carbon obtained from various biological sources, agricultural waste materials are also used for the fluoride removal purpose, particularly those materials which have lignin content. Lignin content, after burning, it gives some sorts of amine groups. And amine groups, generally in acidic media, it becomes ammonium plus, which is responsible for adsorption of fluoride F minus. So in that case, acidic media to be followed for extraction or removal of fluoride ions. So these are the various methods used for adsorption technique for the removal of fluoride. Now we'll go ahead for your Nalgonda technique, generally used coagulation and precipitations. These are the earlier it was that if we can precipitate the fluoride ion in the solution, then what happens? That also an alternate to adsorption that can be used. That's why Nalgonda technique is based on alum and lime dosing. But whenever you are using lime dosing, then pH gradually increases 8, 9, and 10 sometimes. So once fluoride removal after precipitation, then acid to be added. The pH adjustment is very much required for Nalgonda technique. That's why presently this technology is not used because of complexity in operation and detection of water quality as well. So Nalgonda technique generally is avoided because of that pH adjustment, increasing pH, again addition of acid, that thing, and controlling of pH in the both single village and multiple scheme is not easy task. Then magnesia are also used for the fluoride removal techniques. So that is sometimes is precipitate, then magnesia will precipitate fluoride, followed by filtration. Maybe sometimes it is our simple sand filtration or dual media filters can also used here. But after backwashing, a large extent of magnesia will be coming in the backwash solution, which also a waste management problem. So this is your cost and cost effective, and also it is complexity of operation is much more in magnesia case. Now we will compare what are the major techniques like adsorption. Here so many activate carbon, calcite, activated sawdust. So many adsorbents are used for the fluoride removal purpose. However, it has a only 70 to 75% removal that is possible, but treatment is cost effective here because of alumina is from natural absorbent taken from the natural source. It has a disadvantage that highly is dependent, and presence of other surface like phosphate, carbonate, sulfite ion that will reduce the efficiency of fluoride adsorption. In place of fluoride, other anionic ions will be adsorbed. That's why fluoride ions would be reused. Next comes the ion exchange membrane. That ion exchange technique, that also depends on what type of ion exchange materials are used and which is specific to the fluoride ions only. It will not adsorb to the other ions. That is very much required. And regeneration is also needs to be taken care of, selection of ion exchange membrane. So ion exchange membrane can remove fluoride up to 90%, and that retain the taste, color, and color intact. But it has a disadvantage that it is expensive because of resin cost is too much high, and after generally sometimes a complete change of resin is required. Next, we'll go for coagulation and precipitation techniques. As we have mentioned that Nalgonda technique is not used, although under Rajiv Gandhi drinking water missions, so several plants are also installed using these Nalgonda techniques. However, these are maintenance and all those things are you're not easy. So it has your removal capacity even 18 to 33%. And one more thing is that when precipitate comes, that precipitate can also dissolve less than when your pH comes less than 4. So due to use of aluminum sulfate as coagulant, excess amount of sulfate come to the solution, and sometimes which exceeds even the limit of 400 milligram per liters. So, and since it is highly anionic dependent, if silica is present, some silicate ion, and defluoridation of the Nalgonda technique is not much attractive. Now we'll go ahead for membrane process. Since membrane is exclusively pressure-driven size-based separation techniques, so generally depending on pore size, membranes are classified by microfiltration membrane, followed by ultrafiltration membrane, nanofiltration membrane, and RO membrane. RO and nanofiltration membrane is very tight. It has a smaller diameters and high pressure is required. So nanofiltration and RO can also satisfactorily remove the fluoride. However, as you all of you know that membrane process has an advantage and disadvantage as well. Like the process is highly effective for fluoride removal since we are separating molecular level of elements or molecules. So that's why your nanofiltration and RO will give the better result. However, whenever after absorption, generally 20 to 30% of reject water is created, and that reject water is highly saline, highly your fluoride content and other salt. That's why your disposal of reject water is also a challenge, for one. And number two, when all the ions from the water is separated, then fresh water, clean water of TDS 0 or even less than 50 generally is not allowed for the health. We need up to 500 of TDS, at least 200 to 30, 300 is very much required. But in NF and RO membranes, the TDS is very less. So adjustment of salt is very much required to maintain the minimum amount of TDS here. So that's why RO or nanofiltration is okay, but appropriate your salt addition is very much required to maintain the TDS. Now here we'll compare these four types, like activated alumina, someone is using activated sawdust, some Nalgonda techniques like your alum with your flocculation and coagulation doing by Nalgonda technique. Then RO membranes. You can see that initial fluoride concentration, if it is for example, your sample number 1, initial fluoride concentration, if it is 4.2 ppm, and using activated alumina, 1.2 to 1.13 ppm comes, whereas removal efficiency is 73%. In activated sawdust, 1.42 comes, and its removal efficiency is 66%. In Nalgonda techniques, it 1.32, it has an efficiency of 68%. So RO technique reduces 0.32, so it has a 92% of removal. Similarly, the your test, its result is shown here. It can be seen that RO membrane has better and better efficiency, which techniques to be adopted, that depends on your various parameters and various factors needs to be considered here. However, it is well known that RO techniques will give better fluoride removal efficiency. After that, you can see that our activated alumina, it has a 73 all those percentage. But here we can see everywhere we are reducing, even it is 4 ppm, 7 ppm, 8 ppm of initial concentrations, but not a single technique except RO can reduce less than 1 ppm. So all the cases 4.2 to 1.13, although we are telling that our limit is 1 ppm, but sometimes it is 1.13, it is reduces, but not comes down below 1 ppm. This is because of partitioning of that fluoride ion between adsorbent and waters. For example, I have a sample of 7 ppm of fluoride. So it will, all the fluoride, when some adsorption process is going on, whether it is activated carbon, activated sawdust, or activated alumina, fluoride ion will, from the water, it will come to the surface. Generally, all the salts has a solution or solubility products there. So why salt will come from the water to the adsorbent? Because of your surface tension. and your surface activity and surface actions, surface phenomena. So it is not possible that all the molecules from the water will come to the surface. That means 100% absorption is not possible. It will reduce like 1 point, 1.96, 2.23. Although we require 1 to 1.5 ppm, but not even activated carbon or activated sawdust will come to the 0 or even less than 1. So even it is, we go ahead for multiple stages, stage 1, stage 2, but it will never come down your below 0.5 ppm or 0.3 ppm because of equilibrium concentrations and equilibriums. Like 8.6 to 2, it will come. But again, if we another stage, if we use 2, it will never come 0.5. So these are the techniques. So it can reduce this, but RO technique can reduce even it is less than 1 because that RO technique is generally it follows the your solution diffusion model. So that's why all the your particles you trapped over the membrane surface remains over the membrane surface, and fresh water coming along the pore through the RO membranes. So where would the summary? So whenever you are using, whether it is activated, Nalgonda, any techniques, no technique will bring generally zero of your all the fluoride will absorb and it will keep the zero. Now, technology to control fluoride in drinking water, if we summarize all those things, these are the major techniques like coagulation, precipitation, first one. And that coagulation precipitation comes through alum, calcium phosphate, magnesium based, all those things. Then comes the electrolytic or electrochemical defluoridation techniques that we will discuss. Then it comes adsorption and ion based technique. Adsorption ion is one is adsorption. That so many adsorbents are there. Then ion exchange reagents generally used for fluoride removal, and for ionic separation, either RO techniques or electrodialysis, all those things. Electrodialysis technique is very slow and costly, so we cannot think. It is your scientifically and this type of research only for lab scale is feasible reported, not a large scale application or implication is not there for electrodialysis. So these are the things. Now we will go ahead for what is electrolytic and electrochemical defluoridation techniques. So before electrochemical defluoridation techniques, we want to know that, we want to explain that particles will precipitate, then flux, then sediment. These are the techniques. So here if we see that, go ahead for your left to right of this line, particle diameter, 0.11, then 10 nanometer, 100 nanometer, like this. So 0.1 nanometer to 1 nanometer is the dissolved component. Then 10 nanometer to 100 nanometer is the colloidal states. Then 1 micron to up to 1 centimeter is suspended solid. Now you see the table here below. The diameter, if it is 10 millimeters diameter of the particles, then it will within 1 second it will settle. Then if it is 1 millimeter of diameter, then it will take 10 seconds for the settlement. Like this, if you go 10 to the power minus 4 millimeter of diameter of particles, it will take 2 years to settle. Why I'm discussing this thing? Because when you go ahead for precipitation, sedimentation, flocculation technique for separation of fluoride, that case we have to make a flux or precipitate such a diameter that it will reduce or it will precipitate in our required time. Suppose if I need 2 minutes to settle down, so we have to make diameter of the particle 0.1 millimeters. For 0.1 millimeters, we have to add flocculant accordingly, right? If it is 10 to the minus 2 diameters of particles, it will take 2 hours to settle down. Sometimes so many techniques are used across the country for Nalgonda techniques or any other flocculation techniques. So sedimentation is generally not happens because of that particle diameters. So that particle diameters generally, whether it is fluoride removal, arsenic removal, iron removal, or any effluent treatment, sludge management, everything. So generally we add the flocculant, so many flocculating agent there, that desired amount of your particles diameters, then it your influent we are adding, then your sediment happens, and influent and separate sludge will be separate here. Now go ahead for typical like electrocoagulation techniques. Why it is electrocoagulations? Because if we add coagulant, for example, alum, purpose is to make aluminum hydroxide as a adsorbent. But when you are adding alum, as you have mentioned that only 8 to 9% is aluminum and rest is other materials. So out of 100 gram, 8 gram aluminum used for the precipitate and 92 grams in large amounts of the solutions. Electrocoagulation, we have to make such a way that the required amount of aluminum will come into the solution. Because suppose I have 10 ppm of fluoride in 1 meter cube of water or 1 mld of water. How much fluoride is there? For that, how much aluminum is required to precipitate? And for that amount of aluminum will come from the electrode. For that, how much surface area is required? How much current density is required? How much voltage, ampere, along with how much time is required to come down that type of aluminum solution to be calculated first. So this is a complex calculations that also we have done. That type of calculations is also with us. If anyone can your text that we can guide you. So that amount of aluminum will come in the solution. When that aluminum comes in the solution, side by side water will also decompose H2O, H plus minus. And from the when water, oxygen and hydrogen will come from the anode and cathodic side. Anodic side, your hydrogen will go, and cathodic side, oxygen will come. So that when gas bubble will go from the bottom to upward directions, then it will assemble all those suspended aluminum particle within the solution in a bigger one. When it's some sorts of bigger flux generated, initially it starts to float over that. When particle aggregations will be there, then it exceeds its your buoyancy, then gradually it settles down. So initially flux will be in the solution, upward direction due to the bubble or oxygen and hydrogen, then assembling of all those flux, it will be flux over that, and after certain times it will be settled down. So these are the mechanism of coagulation, particularly when we are going ahead for electrocoagulations. So these are the mechanism how alumina, both the anode and cathode. Sometimes it is used your steel and your iron cathodes and iron anodes are also used. Combination of iron and aluminum electrodes are also used. Some phenomena is showing here, which shows that aluminum hydroxide can be generated within the solution, and then fluoride can be attached with that solutions, and it will your alumina fluoro complex will form, which will be deposited on the bottom side. Thereafter, it will be flocculated and separated. In that way, your coagulation, particularly electrocoagulation, is happened in this. So this is your complex process, and carefully your training, very much training is required to handle that type of application. So most of the cases throughout the country, if you see about the water treatment plants, that water treatment plants generally water is coming either from the surface or borewell from the underground. First unit is the aeration. After aeration, it goes to multimedia filters. Over there, some your sand, activate carbon, small gravels are there. So these are the typical water treatment plants. The aeration and filtration thereafter goes to the your delivery tank. So here, not a single step will remove either arsenic or if it is fluoride or this thing, except that sometimes it's anthracite or other activate carbon is used here, that is only absorbing some materials. So that's why this type of configuration will not remove any emerging pollutants nowadays. This will clear straightforward, this will clear only the haziness that will clear out. Yeah, since some sorts of alumina is there, so some smell can go there. If it is, even it is iron, arsenic, fluoride, it is not possible to remove there. What needed? We need some sorts of retrofitting of these units, where utilizing these types of units, additional some units like here, we have proposed that A, B, C, D trunk is there, should be added there, where one part will be addition or adjustments of that electrocoagulation or any other techniques, ion specific techniques to be added there, followed by your flocculations, then some sorts of separation. Here we are proposing some tube settler to be added to arrest all those flux. Thereafter, it will go to the filtration. So some sorts of retrofitting plants needs to be installed there in order to separate these types of emerging contaminants to the existing plants. So typical like our, if you see electrocoagulation reactor is a reactor where all the anode, cathode, say n number of plates should be there. Then there is a question, how many number of plates, what should be the distance of plates, and what should be the total surface area required for a particular flow rate. Say I need 1 lakh liter per day. So 1 lakh liter per day of 8 hours. For the duration of how much residence time will be there based on that volume of reactor to be selected. Then what is the initial iron concentrations, fluoride concentration to be considered here. For that, how much aluminum is required. For that alumina, how much time is required, and accordingly surface area, current, everything should be arranged here. Thereafter, some flux will be generated. After this aeration chamber, it will go to electrocoagulation reactor, where some disinfection will also be there. Then it is flash mixture, pebble, gravels, everything will be there, followed by some sorts of your tube settler. Thereafter, it will go to our existing plant where some basic filter units will be there. So these types of typical your CAD retrofit assembly I have already shown here. So our first one is then the top one is the electrocoagulation chamber, 2 is the vortex mixer, 3 is the flocculator chamber, 4 is the tube settler, followed by your sludge units and treated water for filtration units. And so then key components of that electrocoagulation, that electrodes typically made of aluminum or iron due to their effectiveness and low cost. Power supply, DC current is required, so there needs a AC-DC converter. Sometimes if you use solar panel, from the solar also DC will come. Then reactor vessel, where the electrocoagulation processes occurs, that is to be designed depending on the amount of water and initial concentration of fluorides. Then setting unit for separating treated water, that settling unit in terms of tube settler and any other settling units is very much required. Here I am giving typical design calculations. For example, we need flow rate of 15 meter cube per hour. Then water conductivity is say 0.1 meters. Then operating time per day is 8 hours. In that case, the equivalent coagulant dose is required 25 mg per L. These are the parameters to be added. And density of aluminum electrode is 2700 kg per meter. So if it is the design parameters is really required. And equivalent coagulant dose to be calculated in the lab scale using your standard techniques. Then reactor volume is required. Then hydraulic retention time is really much required, 180 seconds. Number of cell, surface area per electrode, then your power ratings, all those things is calculated here. So ultimately energy cost will come, say your 7 rupees per kilowatt hours. And cost of electrode, it will come to 90 kg per kg. Then energy consumptions will 0.25 kilowatt hours per meter cube. Electrode cost will be so. So total operating cost will be required per meter cube 3 rupees. So electrodes, generally that electrodes to be rechanged or overhauled after around 1 year, 383 days. So these are the typical your retrofitting plant for your existing plant. If it is, say, few plants are already there, and earlier fluoride was not there. Now fluoride or arsenic iron starts to come, so you need to retrofit those parts. So for that, various techniques like here, I'm proposing one technique for retrofit all those ones in order to treat arsenic or iron, etc. So typical your retrofit setup designs. So with this, I thanks all of you for listening. Now I don't know which state has what types of problems, using what type of adsorbent, and what are the difficulties they are facing problems. Then if you can share your knowledge and if you can discuss with me, then definitely I can give some sorts of your suggestions, or from my little experience, I can share what to do and what to not to do, what type of possibilities are there in order to resolve any issues. So now I request all of you to discuss concepts.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for your brilliant presentation. Indeed, it is a very informative, and I am pretty sure that everybody is benefited from it. So many participants are there waiting to ask a question.
Sure.
So I request the participants to raise their hand electronically so that they can ask the question one by one. It is definitely, it will be an interaction. It's a cross-learning process. So first hand has been raised by Dr. P. Sivram. I request Dr. P. Sivram to raise his question, please. Dr. Sivram, sir.
Yeah, I'm here, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, my name is Dr. P. Shivaram. I
so
worked
just
with
before the
very
question, I
long.
request all to give their brief introduction.
Yeah. I'm a former professor and head of National Institute of Rural Development, Hyderabad. Professor, my question is, first, I must congratulate, it is one of the best, one of the excellent presentations which we had. That's number one. And the next one is, can you throw some light on rejected water? And you said that, the RO is now the biggest problem is rejected water. And hope that, you followed me. That's another question. Third one is, which technology you suggest? Whether it is RO or whether Nalgonda or which one, of course, you have presented in a beautiful table form. But in my view, which one is the best who can shoot? If it is RO, again, the question arises here, it is now banned. You may be aware by the ministry and all. So please throw some light on this.
Sir, thank you very much for your raising that type of question. For example, for the best technique, if we need that, it should come below 1 ppm. So it is quite difficult to get below 1 ppm for any other techniques because of that equilibrium. So like your except size-based separation process, any adsorption process, any process which runs under equilibrium is quite difficult to get nil or zero or reduce that. For that, we have to, like adsorption, alumina, we may take, but some sorts of residence time is required, even it is 30 minutes to 40 minutes. So then that case, efficiency can be increased, but the process will be very much slow. And in the RO, when we are thinking about, we are more concerned about reject. But in other technique, like adsorption, we are not considering about that one, our waste, that adsorbent, this is huge adsorbent. That also somewhere we are thinking how to destroy, how to these things. Sir, element cannot be destroyed and element cannot be created. Like we have 160, 170, 116, 17 numbers of elements. Fluoride, when you are separating, it is not possible to destroy. We can convert in another complex form, which may be a less extent of our toxicity. So similar to arsenic also, fluoride also. So in this case, best recommended technique, if we not think about RO, in that case, electrocoagulation followed by adsorption will be the better techniques. Because that coagulate, it will reduce high concentration to low concentrations. Then adsorption will reduce lower concentration to somehow 1 to 1.5 ppm. But getting 1 to 1.5 ppm, it is a tremendous job.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Sivram sir, also for his question. And any other question from participants, please? I've seen so many participants across the country, right from Ladakh to Puducherry, then Maharashtra, from everywhere, people are participating. So I think that there might be some question.
And I will appreciate if someone wants to retrofit their plants, they may also go ahead for this one.
So, Mr. Prakash Chandra Sharma, he has raised his hand. I request Prakash Chandra Sharma to put his question, please.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, sir. You are audible.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. I am Mr. Samar. I am NWE and I am from hydrogeology site. Okay. Sir, I would like to ask that what about the AMC of RO plant? Because recently I've been to Punjab and there is a fluoride contamination is there. And government has installed so many RO plants in every village. But sometimes I found that it was not in working order. I asked about the authorities about the AMC, but they are not doing well. So I would like to ask that whether AMC needed for that or it should be continued or some interval like that. Because RO is, I think, a good plant. Because as you have told that it is output is less than 1 ppm.
Okay.
And space required is also less. And I think it is not very complicated also. So please let me know something about AMC
Yes.
and maintenance. Yes, sir. Thank you.
AMC is very much required,
Sir.
because most of the cases, vendors from the your Ahmedabad and Gujarat, all those things are supplying membranes, and that membranes generally not produced in India. So membranes are from Japan and sometimes USA and German. They are transporting here. Most of the cases, like Torre membrane and any others membrane, I know personally them. So AMC is very much required. And suppose we have a Curtis, you see that your RO or nanofiltration Curtis, hollow fiber Curtis membranes. So suppose it has a 1000 meters square of area, and somewhere it is, even it is 1 meter square or even it is 0.1 centimeter is cracked, choked, it is quite difficult to identify where it is choked. So in that case, your water will leak out from that places and your contamination will come. So that's why RO maintain your AMC is very much required. And maintenance, generally you have to maintain after 3 months. So many RO plants are there in every city, almost every villages are asking for 20 liters of RO plants here. So AMC and your maintenance should be a part of that one, your purchase orders. At least 3 years maintenance, and after interval of 3 month maintenance and everything.
So it should be continued for long life, last life.
Generally 3 to 4 years, they will give the 3 to 4 years, but it is not going on because RO plant is highly sensitive to calcium and silica. Whenever you will ask to provide a RO plant, they will ask what is the TT, what is your hardness level, what is the silica level. Based on some software is there, if you give the parameters, they will give which type of membrane to be used, how much surface area is required, everything is the software generated. So that's why you have to ensure hard water, if it is there, do not go ahead your RO membrane. Hard water is not recommended.
Sir, what about the life of the plant, RO plant? It should be substituted by the new one after as you told that 3-4 years.
Typical RO plant, it needs membrane cartridge. A typical RO plant, I will show you.
Yeah, thank you.
Like if you see this type of RO membrane, generally we also in our lab it is produced. This is the cartridge.
Sir.
So that is to be replaced only. Here is a smaller one, but in the RO plant, depending on the capacity, so it is a big cartridge is there. So generally it is, if it is surface water or underground water, that water comes fast. Then activate carbon bed is there. Some sorts of haze or your cleanness bacteria is removed there. After that, it goes to the RO. So this is one, your pressure here will be there, your pump will be there to make the your pressure in nanofiltration or RO filtration, it takes some sorts of pressure. So it is not so much complex. So additional is nothing required except cartridge. They will change cartridge only.
It can run a long life afterwards.
Long life. If you change the cartridge after 2 to 3 years, it will go ahead for. Additional not is there. But sometimes you have to change the carbon bed. Activate carbon after 1 year, 2 years, you have to change.
Sir, one more question, sir. Once I been to some area where high salinity was there, it was about 25002 3000 ppm TDS. Okay, I asked the related authorities, or I should say precisely chemist. Then they suggested it should have we should install the desalinization plant rather than going for the water softener. Okay, I know these are the different parameters, waters of hard water as well as the TDS, more TDS. So what can you tell me something about the desalination plant, how it's working, and what is the life and economy as well as the
Like
maintenance?
desalination is also a membrane process.
Sir.
When it is required, that is RO membrane. Sometimes in Haryana, their TDS is 700 to 1000, 700 to 1000, sometimes it is 1100. So in that case, nowadays, tight nanofiltration membranes are there, which reduces 1100 to 400. And if it is high saline, so 2500 to it is reduced to 300, 400. So loose RO membranes will be used. That is desalination. Desalination is also a membrane process. Same thing. Only type of membrane, which type of membrane cartridge should be used, that is typical. Whether it is RO membrane and desalination, this is the same part.
Which one is the best one, the desalination plant? Which company?
Like if you, what type of capacity, whether if you ask for 1 MLD, 2 MLD, sometimes they may not give. These are big plants. If you go that your Gujarat, that site, your Reliance, the huge like. So they generally take a 50 MLD plant, 100 MLD plant or RO plant, bigger plant. So depending on, you can contact me, I can give you few contact or RO your membranes. So from there you can ask quotation, and once you enter them, they will provide so many companies are there that you can collect from this.
That against require the maintenance? Desalination
With the
plant?
AMC, annual maintenance.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for your
Sir,
question.
thank you. Sir.
Thank you so much, sir. I have seen Dr. A. I just wanted to ask you something. Dr. A. I sit there.
Okay, please.
Dr. Asit, he raised this question.
I have one question for the loss of water during OS.
Yes, sir.
The loss of water during reverse osmosis RO plant. How to?
Sir, loss of water means what? Like it generally 20 to 30%. Earlier it is 40 to 50% was rejected through RO. Now it's around 20 to 30% water is your rejected water only. So rejected water, one option, you can suitably over the surface, or even it is underground, you can give it like harvesting type for a particular saline zone.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
I've seen Anita Ben raising his hand. So, Miss Anita Ben, you can raise your question, please. Anita Ben. Anita Ben, are you there? Your hand has been raised electronically. Okay, there will be some mistake. One question I have found in the chat box from Dinesh Kumar Upadhyay. Dinesh Kumar Upadhyay, are you there? So he actually wanted to know about the fluoride Delhi area. So Dinesh Kumar Upadhyay, you can ask the question. And Dinesh Kumar Upadhyay wanted to know about the fluoride in Delhi. So if Purkait sir has some idea about that, he will speak up.
Yes, not only fluoride, so many others emerging pollutants on the research level it is doing for algae-based techniques. But algae-based technique is very much slow process. So generally, we should not go for drinking purpose. And again, once it is algae-based, again it is separation. It takes time. Very much slow process. fluoride, even as iron, oily wastewater, saline water are also used for our various types of algae. So that algae-based technique is very slow process. If you go for any refinery, they are also doing like 1, 2, 3 ponds, like 7 days, 10 days in one pond, another 15 days, 20 days, another pond, like this. But we need instant.
So probably Dinesh Kumar Patyaji has got his answer of his question in the chat box. And I have seen Ishwar Sanjayan sir raising his hand. Ishwar Sanjayan ji,
May
you
I
can ask
speak,
your
sir?
question. Yes,
Sir,
sir, you are audible, sir.
Sir,
Yes.
good evening. I'm IC Jain, retired chief engineer from PhD Rajasthan. Sir, in our parts of the Rajasthan, their fluoride contents are very much high, around 12 to 15 ppm, like in the Nagaur district. Can this technology work there?
Yes, it can work. So what I suggest that first you flocculate using techniques like electrocoagulation, other techniques. Then it will reduce to 2 to 3 ppm, followed by adsorption, which will reduce 1 or even 1.5.
Sir, my question is that now a trend is there to provide surface water to everybody, and we are having a 7 to 8 stages of pumping, getting too much electricity charges and O&M charges also. So what is there any cost economy? Up to what level this technology is economical? Your technology is economical?
So I have already mentioned like per meter cube 3 rupees, that is electrical charge for precipitation.
Okay. Can this be used by solar energy?
Is okay, but throughout the your season you may not get solar. Water is even it is rainy season, every time it is required. So parallel option can be done. But if you see 5 years back or 10 years back, so many places solar energy based technology is there. But nowadays, most of the cases due to maintenance and any other reason, particularly in the northeastern region, solar and in this hilly region, that solar energy concept is not work well.
In Rajasthan, we have already 10 to 15 days rainy days, and rest of the year good sunlight is there. So can this be used?
That can be also used, but parallel option direct current, that is to be arranged.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ishwar Sanjayan sir.
Sir, excuse me, sir. Can I speak now? I'm
Yes,
Anita
yes,
Ben here.
Anita Ben.
Sir, I
Yes.
had some technical glitches. Sorry, sir. So good evening, sir. Professor, you had enlightened us with a wonderful presentation. Sir, I have a small doubt. You were speaking with illustrations of fluoride removal ranging from...
Ma'am, can you introduce yourself, please?
Sir, I am Chief Chemist from Pondicherry, Puducherry Water Testing Laboratory, PWD, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, sir. Sir, my doubt is, you were speaking with illustrations of fluoride removal ranging from 4.2 milligram per liter upwards. The limit of fluoride in water is 1.5 milligram per liter. Sir, may I know what treatment would you suggest if it is an emerging problem? I mean, if the fluoride level is just above 1.5 or 2 milligram, because we are facing that. As RO technique is not advisable, would this merit treatment?
So if you have, what's the ppm level? 4 ppm.
No, we are facing problem with some few places we are having fluoride more than 1.5, but 1.5 to 2. But anyway, the limit is 1.5, sir. So that's why I asked whether any treatment is required. Whether blending of water would be suffice, because RO technique is not advisable. Hello, sir? 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 Hello?
Just wait, there may be some technical problem with Purkait sir. He may come back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, I'll wait, sir.
I'm not audible?
Yes, sir, we are audible, sir.
Okay, okay. So then, since you have a 2 ppm of something 1.5, more than 1.5 ppm,
Yes, sir.
in that case, two options.
Yes, sir.
Option one, adsorption based, like alumina you are using.
Okay.
In that, in that case, sufficient.
Sir.
Mr. Sanjeev, please put your microphone off. Mr. Sanjeev, please put your microphone off. Okay, continue, sir.
So, like you have 1.8 ppm or
Yes,
2
sir.
ppm,
Yes,
just
sir.
slightly above the your
Permissible limit. Yes, sir.
So, two options. Option one is the use alumina and keep sufficient residence time around 30 minutes.
Okay, sir.
The absorption bed to be designed so that you slowly, since you have mentioned that equilibrium, that all the separation will governed by the equilibrium. Suddenly from the water, like we have a sodium chloride, you want to separate sodium chloride from water, it's quite difficult.
Okay,
So
sir.
for that, sufficient amount of time to be given for adsorption, so that around 30 to 40 minutes residence time to be given. One option.
Sir.
Another option, before going for aeration or percolation system, if you have nil from
Voice is not coming, sir. Your voice is not coming, sir. There may be some technical problem in IIT Guwahati. So please let us see if Professor can come back with his voice.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Now we are audible, sir.
Audible, na?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No. So two options as you have mentioned. One is your adsorption, use alumina, activated alumina. Number one, I forget to tell you that all the cases, if you see that activated terms, only carbon or only alumina will not work. So from the, if you see India Mart or any other sources, when you purchase some sort of adsorbent, whether it is alumina or others, even it is anthracite coal or everything. So it is activate or not, how much extent of activate, that you don't. That's why if you have provision to make activated, that will ensure. Otherwise, you are purchasing alumina, it will not keep adsorption capacity so much because that activation is not done. And again, pH dependent. As you have mentioned, that fluoride removal is very much pH dependent. It should be within 5 to 6, that range, slightly acidic. In that case, your adsorption will be there. So one option is use adsorption, and another option is water. So then you can blend it so that your V1S1 is equal to V2S2. Before aeration, you can keep some sorts of blending. Ultimately, it will be reduced. That is the best option. Low cost, and again, you can use that. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Anita Ben, for his question. Probably matter is clear to the Puducherry team regarding emerging fluoride in the area. Any more question, please? Anybody else? Or I'll ask our advisor side to give his concluding remark in this regard, sir.
And I think Dr. Sivaram wanted to ask another question.
Please.
Yeah. Oh, thank you very much for giving me one more opportunity to ask. Yeah, actually, regarding the waste management, sir, and as you know very well, this discarded membranes, and automatically they'll become waste. Yeah. Can you please say a few words about this waste management? Like whether it is a hazardous or whether it will again, contaminate the groundwater. There are many questions.
Yeah. Like membrane.
Your voice is not there, sir. Yeah.
Is it audible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So most of the cases, membrane has a two part. One is polymeric membrane, polymers like sheet type membranes here.
Yeah.
So it is rolled, spirally rolled like this. And another one is like where membrane materials is hold. That is basically PVC or various types of polymers. So all those cartridges, when after your separation, when it should be rejected, separate it. One is polymeric and another one is your PVC, all those things. So that is separately your cell. So many companies are there. They are taking back and again melting all those things. So this is not so much problem. So many vendors are there. They will collect as a polymer, like our bottle, plastics. So many people are taking the same thing. These are the only polymers only. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Professor.
Yeah.
Really good.
Sir, would you share the contact number, please?
Yes, please write down. Or even it is Google Scholar, you write my name. So
Yeah.
in the your Google first 20 page will come on my website there. MK Purkait, Chemical Engineer, IIT Guwahati. Okay. So all the contacts are there.
Thank you.
So thank you all. Any more question from any participants, please? Any more question?
This video will turn your life around. Today,
If there is no more participant to ask any question or clear your doubt, I request our advisor sir to speak a few words in his concluding remark, please.
So I have not much to say. First of all, thank you very much, Professor Meher, for an excellent presentation. And it was a very insightful. And I hope all our participants have benefited from it. And we should endeavor, make efforts to give technologies which are user-friendly, easy to maintain. Otherwise, I am from Punjab. I have seen we started installing RO plants 15 years back. But now, as one of the national wash experts also has commented, that many RO plants are not functioning. It's despite the fact that RO plants did very good work, but the only thing is that when we handed over the RO panchayats to the panchayats and requested them to get them repaired or do the AMC by using the finance mission grants, so many panchayats are not forthcoming. So this is the only issue which I see as an administrator, that whatever technology which we are proposing, we should keep the life cycle costing in mind. Not only the capital cost, not only the running cost, even the replacement cost also, cost of AMC also. So whatever the renewal cost. Then there is another issue with the RO plants is that they are the point sources. So now under JJM mission, our policy is to provide water supply through the functional tap out connections. So then we should think of technologies which are good for providing water supply at the doorstep of the people. Like in Punjab, we have installed some arsenic removal plants which are inline. So we are treating the arsenic, then supplying water to the same pipe network. But then the cost of 70 electricity, because in Punjab we are supplying 70 electricity water, the cost of supplying 70 electricity water becomes very high. So we have to keep everything in mind, that which technology is suitable, but in no case, we should compromise on the quality of water because it impacts the health of the people. And then another point which I have noticed is that whenever we are introducing a new technology, we should have some program for the effective change management. There we should raise the awareness level of the residents who are supposed to be the beneficiaries of the scheme. They should understand what are the do's and don'ts of the technology. Then all the people from the PhD department, water supply department, who are responsible for the maintenance of the scheme or for handholding the panchayats for the maintenance scheme, they should be also given proper trainings. So the all such technology should have proper user manuals, specifications, then quality standards. Sometimes we have seen that regarding membranes also, the quality standards were not very clear. So there are good type of membranes and bad type membranes also. So we have to, Professor Meher Kumar, they can support the government in framing the specifications which are robust, so that because in the government, we have to procure the equipment, materials through open tendering. So if the specifications are not robust, then there's a great risk that somebody who is you can say, not a good player may try to dump a bad technology or an imported poor quality product on us, then which will be having a very poor life. In fact, this is my own experience as a district magistrate. In my house, somebody came to repair my RO, home RO, and I told him to use the standard one, but that person was not good. So he installed a retrofitted Chinese candle, which was not functioning at all. And I think on the same day, my wife got sick, and we need to, she was a heart patient also. I know how much effort we have to make to save her and to, then I took some legal action against the company also. But that is not the matter. If the life is lost, no matter of compensation, no matter of legal action can compensate for that. So there is a very great need for all the engineering institutions like IITs, when they are developing a new technology, testing a new technology, if they can support the governments by framing the robust specifications, because sometimes they work in the good faith. They understand that whatever they are proposing, people are providing the good technology. But it is not like there are many dubious bidders who try to dupe the government by providing the poor quality material. So this is my only request to Professor Mihir Kumar. So whenever you're proposing a technology, please do comment on the specification. Just by giving the size of the membrane is not sufficient. We should specify the conditions to ensure that only good quality material is supplied to the government, because these technologies are very, very susceptible to the quality. If the quality is bad, they become deformed, and then nobody knows what is wrong with them. Then there should be proper supply chain management also. If we are installing a proper technology, we should have a sufficient supply, assured supply of the good quality spares, vendors who are able to maintain them, even the AMC agents. Sometimes in the remote areas, people are not even willing to do the AMC also, because they find it totally uneconomical to visit one particular village and carry out the repairs also. So these are practical issues in introduction of new technologies. But anyway, we have to introduce the new technologies, but we have to work on these issues also, which are there with associated with every technology. So this is my only comment on all the technology, not this particular technology, on all the technology which have researched. Even for the Nalgunda technique also, we have to develop a proper ecosystem whenever we introduce a technology. So thank you very much for that. And once again, thank everyone, and thank Professor Mihir also for his excellent presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So thank you once again to Dr. Purkayat for his brilliant presentation. And thank you, Advisor Sir, for putting his insight on the topic also. And thank you to all the participants, particularly the participants who raised the questions. And it is our effort to disseminate knowledge across the country. And I am taking this opportunity to appeal to all the participants also. If somebody has some good practice, good knowledge on any subject related to WAS, they can approach us for such webinar for betterment of our country, for development in the WAS sector. So we are always here to support you so that proper knowledge and scientific knowledge is disseminated across the country amongst all the stakeholders. Now, just before concluding the session, I would like to ask Dr. Purkayat if he has something to say in his concluding remark.
So thank you very much for it's nice to meet all of you. So I think since fluoride is a problem, so sometimes again near future we will come again within the same technology, your fluoride so many real plant is installed, and what is the output, something case study based, and more your questionnaires and problems, if you can share with us so that we can specifically address all those problems. So apart from this, we will come again iron, arsenic, and any other techniques, your saline, water techniques. Subsequently, we will come and discuss all those techniques. Okay, we are the academician, we do research. There is a gap between real your problems and us. Until you are giving us problems, raising your specific concerns, we don't know. So we are totally unaware of your actual evidence, what is happening there. We are doing the technology. Apart from technique, so many other things are there, real life problem, as I mentioned. So that if you can share it here specifically, definitely we can improve ourselves. One thing is that. Another thing I want to share that if you see our Jal Jeevan missions and any others, so many technology across the countries are available, whether it is Marshall Committee report, PSA committee report, CSIR technique, NIRI techniques, so many technology are there. It comes from the academician, whether it is IIT, NIT, Central University, CSIR lab, various types of labs and research laboratories coming. But all those techniques each only lab scale. Until if you go for technology readiness level up to 6, 7, 8, 9, that cannot be feasible. And if you see, there is no specific fund or specific calls from DST, DVT, any others. All those funding agency expect technology, but all the academician is limited within their state of art and small scale. Like we are developing 10 liter, 20 liter capacity. That technology is not all the parameters, is not around 1 lakh liter per day. What is that? That linking needs to be come forward. JJM also should come focus on that to fill that gap. DST doesn't provide, DBT doesn't provide funds. If you see so many so many across the country, so many technologies are there, all are in the lab scale, 20 liters, 30 liters, 50 liters. But that is not same at that your 1 lakh liter capacity plan. So I think there is a gap between our research, Indian research, technology, whatever we are telling technology, all those are in lab scale. Very few are in the larger scale. So some technology, some agency, funding agency, or some appropriate government organization, body should come to develop the TRL level of all those technology, which technology is scalable to up to the desired level of SBS or MBS system. That is the mixing. So thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for explaining the gap between the academician and the other stakeholders also. So that is also very important to listen and to understand. So once again, I extend my heartfelt thanks to Purkait sir. I'm very happy that he has expressed his desire to come again to share his knowledge in this field, being JJM Professor Chair for particularly for water treatment technology. There are many more to learn from him. And I also thank again all the participants. And now we are going to close this session. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.